My challenge to myself for this whole project is going to be to take these super random, weird items and use them as a catalyst for creativity. So I need to think of ways to use these items that will result in an outcome that is a piece of abstract art that I love and that I would like put above my couch or hang in my bedroom. That's the challenge that I'm giving myself on top of the already difficult challenge of creating this art out of these random items. So watch and see what I come up with. Today's video is an abstract painting challenge, but it's not just any challenge and it's not just any abstract video. I have collabed with a fellow Canadian YouTuber extraordinaire, DIY DANIE. If you guys don't know her channel, you must check it out. She's so good. She does these really skillful, fun, creative DIYs. If you're a fan of a good room makeover, a thrift flip, a furniture redo, you're going to so enjoy watching her videos every Saturday morning. They're a lot of fun. I mean, she's just a cool lady and she's a friend. So when we set out to make some videos together, naturally, we had to bring the challenge. Here's the thing. We challenged each other to create abstract art. Simple enough concept? Well, here are the guidelines. We would each send the other 3 items. Could be like a toy dinosaur, Q-tips, popcorn, I don't know, anything. And we would send the other a list of 3 mediums, like pencil crayon, or pen, or pencil, or you know what I mean. And then armed with our list and our 3 weird items, each of us had to make a piece of 2D or 3D abstract art. 3 items, 3 on the list. You get it. Let me take you back in time a minute and show you how this all began. Okay, I'm in the studio today. We're filming some other stuff, but I'm taking a second to do probably what is the most fun part of this entire collaboration, and that is put together a box of weird stuff that DANIE has to make into abstract art. First thing that's going in this box is flowers. This is very on brand for me. There's so many things you could do. You could take these apart. I don't need to give ideas. These definitely are going in the box. I'm gonna put a candle in there, a beeswax candle from Nova Scotia. I also added a super artful and inspiring hot water bottle, and then the mediums I listed were crayon, latex paint, and coffee. Mwahahaha. We're off to the post office. Sally says, good luck, DANIE. I was no longer laughing when my package arrived in the mail. What's in here? Ooh, some little like organic sort of forest shapes. I like that. I like that. I feel like that's very Shayda. Oh my God. Glitter. That's very not Shayda. So we will see what we will do with that. Glitter. Glitter. And moss. Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun, but it's gonna take some thought. So now it is my turn to get creative and get started. I have opened my box. I know what I am working with. I'm gonna head down to the art store, grab a canvas or a panel, and then I will begin making some hopefully really cool abstract art. I settled on a 20 by 30 panel at my local art store, and then I was ready to create my masterpiece. And so here we are. I'm at the studio. I've got my canvas here and I've kind of got my whole little painting set up and I'm ready. Well, I'm almost ready. Just one other thing before we start. Okay, now I'm actually ready. I'll give you a quick rundown of what I've kind of got here. I have a whole box of acrylic paints. Even if these weren't on the list from DANIE, these are exactly what I would have been using for an abstract painting. And I have some really large brushes and palette knives from the dollar store. I also have some smaller brushes and palette knives that are a little more artsy, a little less I'm painting a house, but both of them are gonna work just fine, I think, for this project. These are some of the other palette knives. They're fun for abstract painting. You can do some mark making, kind of think outside the box. So I've got my moss, I've got my nature wood thingies, and the glitter. I don't even wanna look at the glitter. Like, get this glitter out of here. Get the glitter out of my face. Glitter is like my nemesis. Like it gets everywhere. I hate the look of glitter. I'm just not a glitter girl. I'm not a glitter girl. Anyways, this is gonna be like chopped. Like we had to chop you, Shayda, because you didn't even, it looks like you didn't even acknowledge the glitter. Anyways. Okay, I started off by doing something that I highly recommend, and that is painting my canvas or panel a darker color. So when you buy a white canvas, especially in the store, the white is working against you the whole time. You want to get a richer, darker, deeper color on there. At least that's how I like to start. And then even if you're going to work light, you can start to build up light colors on top of, like, I don't know, just a more substantial base. I find that will help with the layering process. And for me, as a very amateur abstract painter, abstract is all about layering. So you can see I'm kind of playing around and just trying out some different beiges and grays on here. And this is just where I want to begin. Because I don't really know how to do an abstract painting, what I'm thinking about as I do this is the idea of collage. If I can create an abstract with lots of little layers and different little bits of pattern and color and texture, then I think I can maybe create something really, really interesting. So I'm thinking of this almost as though I'm painting a collage, and each little bit is going to be a different color or texture or pattern. All right, so I let this dry overnight, so I am back and we are going to keep layering. First thing I want to do, make this area over here white. Why? I don't really know, but I just feel like that's gonna look good. And then we're gonna have fun with some spackle. Layering the paints and building up color gave me a really nice, calm opportunity to do some deep thinking about how I was going to use things like moss and glitter and little hedgehogs and mushrooms and nature shapes in my painting. I'm just like, I don't know what to do with these darn hedgehogs and squirrels. I came up with something that I think it's going to be a good compromise, I think. I'll show you in a minute. I have to let this white paint dry, but I think I've come up with a very, very uptight, Shayda is boring way to use this thing. This thing, come on, come on. Woo! Now this painting and I are still getting to know one another. I don't know a lot about it yet, but one thing I sort of know is that I'm doing a lot of vertical stuff. So I'm going to begin adding the spackle in kind of vertical movements. I added a whole bunch of spackle, and it really was a nice way to build up texture. I don't know about the longevity of using like spackling compound on a panel or a canvas, but for the purposes of this project, it was a cool way to add this wonderful texture and body and life to my abstract piece. While adding all this texture, I did avoid that top right corner that I painted white, and that's because I came up with, I think, quite a cool way to use at least part of that weird little nature set that I have to incorporate. And here's what I came up with. I'm gonna create a printing plate, and we are going to turn this little grid, this friendly little wooden grid, into a really cool stamp. I used block printing inks and a brayer and a piece of glass, and I created this printing plate. And then I just used my little rubber brayer here to actually ink up the wooden thingy. I don't know how this is gonna work as a stamp, but I'm gonna give it a try. I can always paint over and try it again. Press it? Oh my gosh, I wonder. I'm just so curious to know. Okay, that needs work. That needs work. Let's try that again. I'm gonna try to do this like super quick, but I feel like everything is touching the panel. Okay, I like actually where this is heading. Yeah, so obviously it was not a perfect stamp, but as I said in the start of this video, I wanted these weird items to be a catalyst for creativity, and this is a great example of that. It's creating some sort of pattern, even if it's not the perfect grid that I thought it would be, but it's creating texture and pattern where I need it. Yes, very cool. Okay, I like that. I like all these little grids and window frames. It's textural. It's just kind of unexpected with all the freedom of what abstract can be. And my plaster or my spackle is really starting to dry nicely. So I'm gonna be able to paint over that really soon as well. For the moment, I think I'll leave it alone and just let everything dry, and then we'll come back and build up even more layers. And I'll think of some kind of way to hide a little hedgehog or an acorn in here or something. As I was working through this, I couldn't help but think Dani would hide a little hedgehog like somewhere in her painting, and it would be so cute and it would be funny and everyone would laugh and think it was cool, and it would be like a great YouTube-y joke, and she's so fun. And I'm just over here like thinking, how can I make a really nice beige painting, because I take myself too seriously and I just want something that matches my couch, and that's no fun. But yeah, I have not figured out how to use the hedgehogs or the glitter, but I forged ahead and I just continued with this layering and making different areas of color and texture. Eventually I got to the moss and it was dirty and gross, so there was that. But I decided my best course of action would be to combine it with the spackle and just sort of try to continue with this texture building that I was already so into. So here you can see me trying to kind of, I don't know, capture this, what was once a living thing in my art. And it was like, how I pictured this in my head was not how it turned out. I basically got the texture of like string or hair. I thought it was gonna be like nice and big and bumpy. Eventually, I just had to start letting it dry, because even though I built up or used so much, it just kind of all got flattened down and I had so many layers of gross moss. So I continued on with building up lots of little color blocks. Like I would do a little brown and then a bit of gray and white and beige. And then once I had some more color blocks in place, I wanted to continue with the pattern, because this is all about a collage of color and pattern and texture. So here you can see me just using paint to create some pattern. That stamp was a good start to my pattern. And here just using a little bit of contrasting color like white on black or black on white, I am working in a bit more pattern, just basically doing some mark making. And that's the nice thing about abstract, is you don't have to worry about, painting something the way it looks in real life. You can just take joy in the materials and truly create like a child and just like make marks on the canvas. Eventually I decided I incorporated some beautiful pink into my abstract. Got sort of a peachy taupe color going on here. And again, just was really treating this like collage, putting chunks of pink here or chunks of pattern there. And then it was time for crayons. So I grabbed my crayons, and of course this one was an easy one to incorporate. I just wanted to continue with my pattern making, and so I did some lines, I did some dots, I did some X's, and that really actually helped with the collage look. I think some of these areas I began to paint over, some of them I left showing through. And my advice to you is, if you're trying to work on an abstract and you're not familiar with abstract, is to approach it in layers. If you kind of can do a few layers or just chip away at it a little bit every day, I think the challenge with abstract can be like, how do I know if it's good? How do I know if I even like it? And one way that I help myself to answer that question is to do it in layers and stages. If something takes me a while and I kind of work at it one afternoon after another and maybe leave it alone for a day and then come back to it, That helps me to say to myself, yeah, I'm really proud of this piece. I built it up slowly. I got to know it over time, and I can see all these wonderful stages of the painting when I look at it. And in that way, the painting is really rich. And that's really what you're seeing right here. You're seeing me work through this little by little, day after day, one afternoon after another, and just building this painted collage, just one little bit at a time. And I was surprised. I was actually quite pleased with the way this started to turn out. I love the way you can see bits of pattern and texture and color showing through. And I just continued building up more color, building up more sections of pattern and even more texture. And eventually the piece kind of felt like it was almost done. And so you're probably thinking, how did you incorporate the hedgehogs, the glitter? What did you do? Well, let me tell you, the hedgehogs, we had a bit of fun. We actually burned them and created some ash, and that was really fun, if not a little bit dangerous. And I was able to at least attempt to paint with the ash that I created. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was gonna be, let me tell you. I was not just painting with charcoal, but it was okay. And then I continued to play with color and build up more pattern. And then the glitter, well, I just emptied it into the garbage, and then I just used the little tube as a stamp. I know, it's terrible. And you know what the worst part is? I spilled it and I got it on my shoe. So it wasn't even throwing it out was too dangerous. That stuff I'll be finding for years now, and I didn't even use it in the piece. Sorry, Danny. This is as close as I can get. And with that, I was actually all done. I was proud of my piece. I am proud of this piece, and it was time to show it off to Danny. Hey.
Hey girl, hey. Hold on, let me get the video going. Oh, you look so adorable.
You look adorable.
Stop, it's hat season. It's good for everyone.
So, are you ready to see my abstract work of art?
I'm so ready for this. Hit me.
Okay.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. I don't even...
Ta-da! It's created on a panel.
Beautiful. Oh my God, come closer. I need to see details.
So I gave it a lot of thought, and I wanted to create an abstract painting that was all about collage and texture. And let me talk you through it, although I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk about the glitter last. How about that? I built up a lot of texture using the spackle, and that was really fun to work with. And then I did incorporate the moss into the spackle.
That's brilliant. That's thinking outside the box right there.
And then I ended up burning the little hedgehogs into an ash.
I would have never thought to burn the wood to make like an actual substance to paint with.
Okay, the glitter, in the end, I used the glitter tubes as a stamp. Everyone's like, boo. It's as close as we can get.
I wanted glitter.
I know.
Glitter. Listen, I almost took the candle you sent me and just burned my piece. I was like, well, at least if it fails, I'll just burn it using the candle. You did amazing, Shayda. Like,
did you care to rate it?
Because you didn't use the glitter,
I knew this
I'm going to have to give you a 9.5 out of 10.
Totally understood.
You nailed it. Honestly, like I knew to expect like literally just like magic from you, but that's awesome.
And why don't you go ahead and tell all of my community what your channel is all about, because I'm a huge fan and I have been for many years.
My channel is about the DIY space. The core of my channel is about building confidence with creativity. So it's about being confident to create a furniture piece for your home. It's about giving you the confidence to go and do that thing you never thought possible. You feel empowered and you feel, like you can take on the world. And I think that in itself is more important than anything you can teach.
Really excited to see yours. I did not mean to be so cruel.
So let me reveal. Are you ready?
I'm so ready. I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, that's so not what I was expecting. Okay, my friends, you're gonna wanna head to Dani's channel to see what she made. I can honestly say it is not what I was expecting. So watch her video. It will be released tomorrow, Saturday, October 9th. And I will simply end by saying I had a lot of fun with this process. Challenging yourself is a great way to actually spark creativity. It may seem difficult, but it's a wonderful catalyst for creativity. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon with a new tutorial.